Hello and welcome everybody to my hairstyle of the day number 2. So this is the hairstyle that I did in today's video. It's kind of a voluminous fan bun in the back with a kind of loose cinnamon bun with stacked on top with the remaining hair. I did end up doing a little bit of refining to the very top bun after I recorded this because I realized that it was ever so slightly off center. But the after pictures are coming up right here. So I adjusted it just a little bit when I got to work once I realized it was slightly off center. So this is what the top actually ended up looking like once I got there. But I didn't undo anything. I literally just kind of took the hair fork out and readjusted that part to start off with. But as far as how I did this style, first thing I started out with was putting my hair up into a high ponytail, which you'll see in a minute here I had some struggles with. I could have flipped over my head and did it that way, but for some reason I felt like just slowly inching it up and kind of brushing it down to keep the bumps down. But it did take me a little while to actually get my hair up in a ponytail. And I did previously have my hair in braids right before this. So my hair was kind of fluffy, which actually helped with this style. But it was also a little unruly. As you'll see at certain parts, I did have to kind of brush through my hair a couple times while doing this to get it to obey. But yeah, the idea is to start with a pretty high ponytail. You don't want it on top of your head, but you kind of want it as high as possible without getting to the top of your head. The way I like to think about it is if you're looking at your head from the side and imagine that your head is a square instead of kind of round, then you want it in that like upper back corner. If your head had corners, kind of put it up in that area. You also want to make sure that this ponytail is pretty secure because this is going to be holding not a lot of weight because there's going to be a couple hair clips in a second, but this is going to be the basis of the bun and you don't want it slipping down. So once I have my big voluminous high ponytail, I decided that my hair was still a little too unruly. Even though I had brushed it previously, I decided I wanted to brush out the ends a little bit more just to ensure that they were all, laying in the right direction before I really got started. Normally this is a pretty easy style for me to do, but or at least the basis of this style, but this time it was being a little bit fussy. But at this point, all I needed was one medium-sized claw clip, and I'm going to grasp the ponytail a few inches down below from where it's tied at. So grasp it a few inches down and then lift your hand up to bring that hair upwards, and it'll create kind of like a poof at the top. You can kind of adjust the hairs a bit to make sure it's all even while you're making sure to hold that ponytail right below the base of that ponytail holder. And then once you kind of like how it looks, grab that claw clip and then clip it to your scalp. You can either clip it right below where your ponytail holder is at, which is what I did this time, or you can clip it to the ponytail holder, which will bring it ever so slightly more up. As you can see here, my little fan poof is kind of at the back of my head rather than like tilted forward, but it's kind of just up to you and how you want it to look. At this point, I decided to split the rest of my hair into two and kind of twist it forward and then bring the two halves forward. At this point, I didn't really know what I was doing from here. I just know that I liked that. I really liked the look of that like fan poof bun thing, and then I'll kind of go from there. So today I just decided to bring the two halves of my hair forward and put it in a ponytail. kind of facing forward, laying over the top of my head. And I ended up kind of just messing around with a couple things. A couple iterations that did not work. So we'll skip over some of those failures here in just a second. Because, you know, they didn't work at all. And no reason to leave them in the video if, you know, it didn't work out and I looked pretty silly while doing it. So this is one of those iterations that I just decided was a total fail. So we're gonna go ahead and tape this down here. And at this point I was just kind of thinking, like, how do I get the rest of my hair up on top of my head here? So I decided to just do a very loose twist and wrap sort of situation to get like a very loose kind of cinnamon bun going on here. So twist my hair loosely and then also wrap it around itself very loosely so I could still fiddle with it. I only got about 2 full wraps around before I decided to just tuck my ends in because I didn't need those out for the kind of style that I was aiming for. And then once I had those ends tucked in, there were 2 loops in that bun. I decided to take that very uppermost loop and just scoot it backwards. I didn't flip it over or anything. I literally just scooted it backwards. And then staying on theme, you know, having no idea what I was really planning on doing, I tried to hold this in place with a claw clip, which I ended up hating. It didn't look right and it also wasn't holding well. So got that out of there. At that point, I decided to just get a small, slightly curved 2-prong hair fork and go in from the back, making sure to catch some hair from the front loop also. And that laid pretty flat along my scalp so it didn't poke out or anything. And that felt comfortable and that ended up staying pretty well as well. And I decided that was good enough, so that's what it was. This is what it looks like. And I did end up clipping up the loose hairs from my nape as well because I realized that looked a little extra fluffy. But I did that a couple minutes later, so it's not in the video. But I ended up, you know, it did end up looking a little bit neater. And then like I said earlier, once I got to work, I did adjust that top portion of the bun just a little bit, just kind of spread it out and flatten it out a little bit more, and also to get the fan part, the back fan part of the bun kind of centered up a little bit better. But I didn't take anything down or redo anything. I literally just ever so slightly messed with it. So here it is right away in better lighting. It's definitely different. It's comfy, voluminous. You only need a couple hair ties, 1 claw clip, and a small hair fork for this guy. Just trying to show you at all angles because it's kind of high up there. But yeah, like I said earlier, I did end up adjusting the top a little bit, and that's what that ended up looking like, which I think is much better than it was before. So yeah, this is one of my favorite bun bases, and I hope you like it as well. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.